The Star Wars Rebels episode Twin Suns finally aired.
Finally!
It's out there. We know what's happened now. So hopefully all our listeners out there, you've watched the show. If you haven't, maybe skip the part to the next part of the podcast if you wish. But I'm hoping that you've watched it. But Blair, if you had to sum it up in one word, we'll get into the details of it. But if you had to sum up in one word what this episode, the feeling you had after you watched it, what would it be?
Well, of course, the Twin Suns is that episode which had the robots in it, isn't it? And oh, hang on, no. Oh no, I haven't watched it. No, just kidding,
No.
kidding.
Oh dear.
I forgot we're out of sync.
Goodness.
No,
I think you
it's,
need the back to tank, mate.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, I screened it for myself this morning with a hot cup of Joe and put my feet up and enjoyed. Yeah, great. Fantastic. I loved almost every moment of it. But,
already.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant. Look, if Darth Maul had to come back, it was a fitting send off for the character.
Yeah.
And that's debatable for me whether he needed to come back or not. Anyway, but it was finally like Obi-Wan, finished the job. So.
Yep.
It was great. I loved. I just loved the look at this episode. I thought Tatooine looked great. I just liked the whole vibe that they were going for.
Yeah.
I liked how it was very minimalistic in a way this time.
Yes.
Wasn't like huge in scope, and it didn't need to be. It was more character driven. And I don't know if Ezra needed to be there. In all honesty, Ezra's character, does annoy me somewhat.
Yep.
He doesn't seem to, move forward too much with things, to me. And I just thought the reason he was there was just a little bit meh. Look, I've had a vibe, I've had a feeling. I'm going off. I'm taking an A-wing and I'm going off by myself again. And off we go. Now we've seen him do that sort of stuff before.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just didn't think that he needed to be there. So I would have loved to have just seen this episode just being a character study between Maul and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I think that's all it needed to be, right? This time around, Ezra's character didn't really. And sure, you had a bit of the Luke vibe, like Obi-Wan sat down with Ezra and talked to him like he talked to Luke, and.
All before you were born.
Yeah, I was almost expecting to put the hand on his forehead and like he did with Luke again. I thought it was great. I thought Maul was fantastic. It was great, because even though Maul doesn't look much different, he's a lot older. They're both old men.
That's
now.
right.
And I just loved the whole vibe thing. I loved the samurai vibe.
It was, wasn't it? It was.
So and
good.
Like many samurai films I've seen, that duel at the end was how it should be.
Yep.
We could have had another, and it wouldn't have played well for the characters to be having another Phantom Menace jumping around everywhere for about 10 minutes. I was really, really hoping they wouldn't have. It would have been cool to see, but looking at Obi-Wan's fighting style and A New Hope, and I knew it had to be a lot closer to that. And I was just, it was just like, had to happen. It was just justice, really. And I loved how Darth Maul died in Obi-Wan's arms, like Qui-Gon died in Obi-Wan's arms. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, resonance, brilliant rhyming.
Yeah.
In that part.
So that rhyme, as George would say. It's all about they rhyme. Everything rhymes.
So, for me, this, as I think I've mentioned in the previous episodes, this season's been a bit hit and miss. But, this was just an amazing episode. Little things that I didn't like, just like little technical sort of things, like, Tusken Raiders attacking the A-Wing and, being able to put his gaffy stick through the window. I mean, I'm like, okay, this is a spacecraft. I don't think a gaffy stick could break it like a pane of glass. That sort of stuff annoys me. I know it's little things, but it's little technical details. I don't know. I was really, really hoping that there wasn't going to be like a moment where Ezra decided to at the last minute come in and save the day, or turn the lizard around and. or Chopper fly in and jump on top of Maul and distract him.
Yeah.
I was a bit scared. I was actually waiting for that sort of thing to happen. So I was very, very happy that the episode turned out as it was. And now, the trepidation, everything's over it. I fully intend to go back and now watch it again, having seen, just, pay attention to
those little
details.
things. Yeah. Well, look, for me, it started off, once again, we were focusing on Ezra as a character. What I found interesting is after he has, you could say, he's hearing the voices of the younger Obi-Wan on the holocron, and he hears Maul, is when they all get together, and he's like, I believe Kenobi's alive, and Rex says, no one wants him to be alive more than I do, but Bail Organa, Senator Organa told me he's dead. He confirmed it, which shows that how deep-seated that secret is of Obi-Wan being alive. Exactly. So, Bail Organa is aware of, once again, Ezra and Kanan, and same as Mon Mothma. And once again, I'll refer back to that rumor, not rumor, the theory I have that, with what happens to those characters, that they all eventually die at the end of the show. If anyone's heard the previous pods, please tune in and listen to those, because there's a great theory there that I've got. But it was interesting how they're all like, no, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead. He'd be here. Hera and Ezra have that moment going, if General Kenobi was alive, he would be here helping the rebellion.
Exactly.
He wouldn't be anywhere else. I'm sorry to tell you. But it's like, well, hang on. No, that secret of Luke is so embedded, Luke and Leia, to be honest. That this is the reason, and only a select few people know. So it's quite interesting that, and then of course he does the whole, I'll take the ship, and he goes. But Sam Witwer, what an amazing job he did with Maul in this episode. Like, everything he did, his deliveries of the lines, the dialogue, the script was so tight. I agree with you with regards to when Ezra lands on Tatooine, the Tusken Raiders attacking and all that sort of stuff. I know that was probably Maul doing a little bit of manipulation there, probably, and he's channeling Ezra to a point where he can't find Obi-Wan on Tatooine, but he knows what will draw him out, and he did everything he could. I did have a moment there when Ezra was there with Chopper, and Chopper had run out of battery, and he's lying in the desert. I was like, wow, this is actually one of the very few emotional moments I've seen of that character in the show, that he'd literally given up. He's hallucinating. This could be I actually at one point thought maybe this is where Ezra or Chopper are their story arc's gonna end. We know that's not true because I'd seen the preview for the finale, but at one point I was thinking, wow, this is really gonna be a huge moment. Now, then you've got Obi-Wan sitting there, and the evolution of that character from where we left him in Revenge of the Sith to now, you can see that very Alec Guinness sort of feel, and Stephen Stanton once again did an amazing job, I felt, in portraying the character. And
he was spot on. And some of the dialogue, just the inflections were just fantastic.
But you could see where he has become this very knowledgeable and wise old Jedi. So where he, at the end of Revenge of the Sith, with Yoda telling him, you're more training I have for you, you can see where those years in isolation, he's gone on this journey of the Force, and he's trained himself to be this old, wise warrior, and that comes across so strongly. But what I found funny was when they're sitting down there and Ezra's like, he's like, you've got to go, and da-da-da-da-da. And then, Maul pops up and he goes, well, you did it for me. I was waiting for that music in Kill Bill, when she sees someone she's got to kill, and it goes, do-do-do-do. I was waiting for that Kill Bill moment, because it did it. Once again, it goes back to those old style samurai films. And this this episode had a lot of those little nods to a lot of those old samurai films. And but that moment there, I thought I was waiting for the Kill Bill music to kick in, and the little flashback of Maul getting chopped in half and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, I've come for you. This is it. This is the moment. You're on my list. It's Kill Obi. It was that sort of moment. And of course, I too was a bit worried that they were going to turn it very childish, is probably the word. Sort of the word I'm looking for. Like as you were saying, Ezra or Chopper do something slightly comedic to interject in the battle, but he's like, ride north and that's your way home.
Yeah.
And don't look back sort of thing. And Ezra, I think, knew at that point that Maul wasn't going to walk away. I think Ezra believed that this was the end for Maul. We're never going to see him again. And that's it. You know, Obi-Wan's going to finish the job. But they're back and forth between each other. You know, it was Maul with his bitterness and anger to the situation. Obi-Wan saying, you know, hang on, mate, I've learnt so much, and all that. But that moment, though, that Maul realizes why Obi-Wan is there, that was just like, you, even as an animated character, you're watching those emotions going through Obi-Wan's mind of, I'm calm, I'm patient. And as soon as Luke is mentioned, you know, indirectly, it's like his eyes just change. It's like, hang on, I've got to put the brakes on this. We now have to end this where I didn't want to have to end it. And then, of course, they have that moment. And I know a lot of people online at the moment are a bit up in arms of, well, it should have gone for longer. And, you know, the thing is, though, we've had years of long, drawn-out flips, kicks, backflips, funny moves, force pushes, double lightsabers, quadruple lightsabers, you know, 4-on-4 fights, arms and legs getting torn off. We've had all that. We've had that build-up for years. And what it did was it just signified that Obi-Wan had become quite a powerful Jedi and had learnt from previous mistakes how to handle the situation. And he is truly one with the Force when he takes on Maul, where Maul, yes, is clouded with anger, clouded with misdirection, and the whole situation. But when Obi-Wan did that move and he just dropped into his arms, I had tears welling up on my eyes. I was like, oh my God, you know, it was such an emotional moment. And what I found interesting was when Maul said, "Is it the chosen one?"
Well, yeah.
You know, now, once again, this is one thing that's caused a little bit of a ruckus online, is that Lucas has always said that Anakin was the chosen one. Anakin was the chosen one. And then, you know, Maul's next line is, you know, he will avenge us. And Obi-Wan's like, gives him the nod. You know, he's like, he is. The thing is, though, now this is where I think he still could be referring to Anakin, not to Luke.
Yeah.
I know what we're thinking he is, but I think Obi-Wan knows that Luke is the key to get Anakin to become, you know, back into that fold and make sure everything's right. It's like a pawn in a chess game, and Luke is one of those pawns that's going to help win the game, or put the king in a position to win the game. And like some people have come out today going, you know, you're dancing on a fault line, Filoni. You know, why have you now changed the chosen one to be Luke? And I hate to say it, I don't think he did in that comment. It also could be looked at in another way, was to give Maul some sort of positive relief before he died, going, I am protecting the chosen one, and this person is going to avenge everything that we went through. The person who betrayed me and the person who betrayed you. You know, so Obi-Wan could have just been that nice guy going, yes, I'm looking out for the chosen one who's going to avenge what happened to us, and letting him know that in his final parting way, that Maul will go into death at peace, knowing that the rights will all be wrong, the wrongs will all be righted. And but yeah, there's a few people have kicked up a bit of controversy about it. So
well, yeah, I hadn't really. Well, like I said, I only saw it a few hours ago. I haven't really had that much time to really, you know, let all that digest. But that makes sense actually. What you say, that Obi-Wan was in his way giving Maul peace. So I mean, because Maul. I don't know. Maul wouldn't know that Anakin was Vader.
No.
He wouldn't know, you know, what had happened with all of that. So yeah, you're right. Obi-Wan could be referring. I mean, Maul. Yeah, Obi-Wan was obviously, you know, may have been referring to Luke as well.
Yeah.
Right. But Maul would have thought that the chosen one, would have been Anakin. Yeah, you're right. I think I got a feeling you're right there as far as Obi-Wan wanted to give him a bit of. As he went off, a bit of peace there with his life.
But yeah, no, look, and then of course, you know, Ezra goes back. and so, apologies and all that sort of stuff. But that final scene, that's when I cried.
Oh yeah.
That
I was
beautiful.
so glad they had that at the end.
Oh.
Yeah, so Luke, let's see, we're a couple of years out from A New Hope, so he'd have been about 15 or 16.
Yep.
There,
Yep.
running back in from the moisture evaporators. Yeah, that was great. There again, another Ezra moment. Didn't really need the back again. Everybody hands on and each other's shoulders. Go, oh, yes, we're family. We've seen enough of that as well. That's great. That's fine. But I'd have been a bit disappointed if it didn't have that tail at the end. So
the palette of the animation was just beautiful. It reminded me of the Revenge of the Sith, to be honest. How it's very dusk dawn sort of thing as it's going on, and that little black shadow of Luke running. But how cool was it that they used the original actress's dialogue from A New Hope?
Yeah.
I was just like, my God, as soon as I heard Luke, I went, that's Beru from A New Hope. This is where I love how they're threading everything together at every level. The story group have gone, with Rogue One, how we had Gold Leader and Red Leader in Rogue One. Then you've now got the voice of the actress who portrayed Beru in Star Wars Rebels, nearly 40 odd years later, using her voice.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that's where I was like, wow, this show has just bumped a new level. As you and I both said, this season has had a lot of up and down sort of thing. But there have been these beautiful episodes, like if you're taking things out, really can intertwine into that whole story arc of, from the Phantom Menace all the way through to where we are in episode 7. You could be very selective and put them in some sort of order. But yeah, very clever. One very well written episode. I'd be looking forward to see if there's an extended edition of this. I know on Rebels Recon, which I've only just watched, Filoni said there were so many deleted scenes from this episode. Of course, once again, probably trying to do a bit of fan service, I felt. Probably going, there's Mos Espa or Mos Eisley, or this is Toshi's station. I have a feeling that Toshi's station might have been one of those little Easter eggs that maybe Ezra went past or Maul was walking through or something like that. But I'm glad they kept it, as you said, very minimalistic in this episode. We got to see Obi-Wan when we needed to. We got to see Maul when we needed to. But yes, this could have been an episode where Ezra didn't really need to be there. But I understand why they wanted to, so that their connection was severed. That they had to bring Ezra in to show that. And that was the only way they could, is like, this is the moment that Ezra and Maul's connection is now completely severed. We need Ezra in the show. I know originally they wanted Kanan and Ezra to be together, and I'm glad they didn't do that, because it would have completely thrown everything out.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I can't see Obi-Wan going, well, I've got 2 guys who are Jedis here. I could be training them, and I could still keep Luke at arm's length and just keep everything, separate. Or, he might have sent them to Dagobah to see Yoda, or that sort of thing. And Ezra knows of Yoda, and Ezra has told Kanan that he knows of Yoda, that Yoda's alive. So there's all these little things here going, well, okay, if Yoda knows of Ezra and Obi-Wan knows of Ezra and Bail Organa knows of Ezra, where the heck are they in Rogue One?
Exactly.
So that's what I'm getting at with my theory, is that both these characters will meet their fate at that time, because they'd be there. It's like, well, we've got 2 Jedi. Ezra would be Luke's age in Rogue One, because they were literally born about a few days apart, because Ezra was born on Empire Day when the Empire was born, and then Luke and Leia were born only a couple of days later.
Days after. Yeah,
so
that's it.
Ezra would have been the same age as Luke. Kanan would have been older. He'd be a lot more wiser. And then you've got Obi-Wan. So you've got 3 Jedi in your back pocket, and 2 of them, or all 3 of them, have fought Anakin at some point. And Ahsoka's probably floating around somewhere, I don't know, on Mandalore or wherever it was, having margaritas and whatever she does. So Ahsoka's stepping away again. So once again, you got 4 Jedi who are quite capable of taking on Anakin. Why aren't they all together? So you've got to assume that these characters are gone, bar Obi-Wan, of course, by the time Rogue One comes around.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how they approach all of that. Yeah. I don't know. It's just going to be.
It's tough, but you gotta tie up tie up those loose ends soon. I feel, and I'm hoping season 4 is the last season of Rebels. I know a few people might go, "No, we want it to go forever." No, it can't go forever, people. It's got to end. And I think season 4 will be the great send off. We'll get a new animated show in that'll deal hopefully with stuff between maybe Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. We need something new and fresh. And Rebels, I think one more season, you're going to leave on a high. And as you've said, it ends with the Battle of Scarif, and I think that'll be the perfect send off for the Ghost Crew. And
well, obviously, Captain Syndulla has been sent off on another mission in the middle of Rogue One because she gets called to the briefing room.
That's right.
And when you see that scene again of, when Mon Mothma says to Bail Organa about Obi-Wan Kenobi, to me that is the end of that briefing.
Yep.
Right. So she's obviously gone out the other door, and they walked out that door talking. So you didn't see her, but I've got a feeling, that it's just going to be interesting to see what mission that they've got.
How it all ties.
Yeah, they've got for her, and how it ties into all of that. But it's just interesting when you see it again, just how they're putting it together. So I can't wait to see where season 4 goes with all that.
But yes, Twin Suns, amazing. Good to see Rebels is hitting its stride right near the end. Of course, next week is the 1 hour season finale. Thrawn actually looked like he's going to attack someone this time, and not, as his favorite song says, let them go or let it go. Thrawn has auditioned for Frozen 2. He does have his version of Let It Go. So, but hopefully next week, Thrawn looks like he's got his hard hat on, so he means business, or he's just going to be like one of the Teamsters and have a break while everyone else does work. So we'll just see what happens.
I would like to think, if this, it's going to be very difficult for them to top the episode we've just seen. No matter what they do, and I'm just hoping that they finally bring Thrawn to the table with the character that we've all been waiting and expecting for him to become.
Yes.
And they've got 2 episodes to do it. And I'm just next week's just going to be cream on the cake.
Huge. So we will be talking about it hopefully next week or the week after. We'll be talking about that finale. We'll have a bit of a breakdown about it.